Congress in Rajasthan has announced to include IVF treatment under the state government's Chiranjeevi Swasthya Bima Yojana, with the amount for the scheme doubling from rupees 25 lakh to rupees 50 lakh. Now, this is what the Congress has promised in its manifesto. This is unique as reproductive issues of women are often ignored in the larger political campaigns that are often centered around identity and welfare schemes. Earlier this year, BJP government in Goa was the first to promise free IVF treatment. It said that it wanted its healthcare to be inclusive of people from all economic backgrounds and did not want couples to travel to other states. Gender issues often are limited to talking about maternal health, sanitary napkins and nutrition. These are very, very important, but it is a time for also political parties to steer public debate to include other crucial issues relating to women's health and reproductive rights. That is the question we are asking tonight. Joining me is Poonam Muttreja, the Executive Director of the Population Foundation of India. Thank you, ma'am, for speaking to NDTV. How do you see the Congress in Rajasthan promising to bring IVF under government health insurance cover? Clearly, this is what the party has said in its manifesto, and it is also one way of addressing the stigma around infertility, isn't it?
Absolutely. And also, there is a stigma around infertility, but also it's a step in the right direction because it deals with the issue of reproductive rights. So women and men who wish to have a child but cannot have a child, or women who wish to delay the child, it's very important that they have access to infertility treatment, which is very expensive and can only be afforded by the rich. So this brings in, equality for those who can't afford infertility treatment. And, secondly, our program is not anymore population control and even family planning. We call it the family welfare program. And this will deal with welfare because the numbers are huge. I believe the data shows that close to 27 million individuals in India are infertile, and most of them wish to have a child. But only thing I would say is that why is it only for, as this policy says, childless couples? Why can't we have it for single women? Why can't we have for those who have one child and wish to have a second child? So I wish it was more inclusive, but I really welcome it because it's a step in the right direction and it looks at welfare of society.
Ma'am, experts also say that there's been a significant rise in couples seeking medical assistance to have a baby over the past few years, and IVF treatment is primarily offered in the private sector where the cost of the treatment cycle could amount to lakhs. Do you think it's time for more government hospitals to get into this space?
Absolutely, government should get into it, and government should also negotiate prices with the private sector. And prices cost will come down, and the price will come down when the demand increases. Right now, as I said, it's only the rich and the upper middle class who can afford this treatment. So if the government can work out with the private sector a lower rate for those who are insured under the government schemes, I think we can work in the right direction. It's been done for cesarean cases. It's done for so many other areas where the private sector partnership is there, and the government is always talking about public-private partnership. And it's important for the private sector to step up and respect women's rights, reproductive rights, and provide services which are lower price. And I am certain the cost of the treatment will go down once the demand increases, which it will in this, given the step that Rajasthan government has taken.
Ma'am, I was talking to some political people and they say that declining fertility in some states, including Rajasthan, is being cited as a reason that political parties are actually thinking of issues like fertility rate and IVFs. How valid are these concerns?
So, as fertility declines in many parts of India, there is going to be a situation that China ultimately will reach when our population stabilizes totally and fertility is declining in more states, we'll have a situation where we won't have a young working age population, and we'll have large number of older people. And when we have large number of older people, we're in a country where social security is not there. Plus, for our economy, we need a large population of working age in India and everywhere. And when we see countries like Japan, Korea, China, the example today for us is to have a stable population decline. And also when the decline happens at a much faster pace, which it will happen 2060 onwards, we will have in place infertility treatment, which is more accessible, which is also a reproductive right of people. And finally, I would like to say that the countries who have minus population or very low population growth or no population growth at all have infertility treatment in place. For example, China as a way of providing not just reproductive rights, but it is providing the opportunity for a population not to decline totally. And finally, you know, to do it for the right reason is the right thing to do. So introducing IVF and dealing with infertility when Rajasthan is not at a stage which Kerala and many other states, southern states are, where they have minus growth rates, or Sikkim, which is very worried about the lack of increase in any fertility. I would like to say that doing it for the right reason makes me very happy.
Oh, that's very interesting. So, ma'am, we finally have IVF on a political party's manifesto, but is it also the time to examine the ways in which political parties have addressed reproductive rights? And do you think it's time to increase conversations about political conversations about access to contraceptives or adolescent sexuality or even forced sterilizations, because these are very difficult conversations to have?
We need to, this is an opportunity and an example for us to go in the direction of, that's why I'm referring to this as this step as a reproductive right. And I do have to say that Rajasthan is the first state government which has health as a right. So there are opportunities to do that in Rajasthan, and the work on with young people on sexual reproductive health, ending teenage pregnancy. We have received a lot of, support from the Rajasthan government, and Rajasthan has taken good steps where health is concerned, and they could be a good example, and I'm sure other states will emulate this. And in a broader way, reproductive rights beyond only dealing with fertility, on the issues that you have mentioned, especially age at marriage, reproductive health care, greater access to family planning. Rajasthan still needs it. Rajasthan needs more temporary methods. Rajasthan needs to still deal with teenage pregnancy, and political parties are at least moving in the right direction from no reproductive rights perspective to what we are seeing in Rajasthan today. I'm very, very hopeful that other states will pick this up.
Thank you, Dr. Muttreja, for joining us. We also have Mahima Singh from the Congress and political analyst Geeta Bhatt joining us on this discussion. Geeta, I'll come to you directly. This insurance cover for IVF promised by the Congress in Rajasthan, if implemented, could make fertility treatment accessible to even poor couples who've been unable to afford it all these years, because the costs, you know, can range from rupees 90,000 to rupees 2 lakh per cycle in the state. That's what I found out. Many couples stay away because of the costs of IVF. How do you see this move?
Well, this is Vasudha, definitely, first of its kind that IVF in vitro fertilization has been included by a party in its manifesto, then it's that they will bear the cost for childless couples. But at the same time, I think it also needs to be looked at in the context that the scheme under which this IVF is being proposed to be covered that is under the Mukhyamantri Chiranjeevi Swasthya Yojana. So if you look at in principle, this is something which needs to be welcomed. But at present, if we look at the state of Rajasthan and if we try to find out about the beneficiaries of this particular Swasthya Yojana, it is, first of all, there are no numbers. The present, initiative, this kind of a health initiative by the state government, there is no data which is there, which, on the public domain, which tells us about that what beneficiaries are there. There could be a couple of, videos which are done stating that some people have been benefited by it. But if you look at the number, and also what I gather from, from Rajasthan, that for this kind of a treatment, which would be, this is an expensive treatment, and for this, the state government will actually have to reach out to large private hospitals. Now, even in the present scenario, if we see that there are certain, procedures which the state government says is covered under this Chiranjeevi Swasthya Yojana, but the big private hospitals, they are not very keen to take such type of cases, probably because of the kind of remuneration that is given by the government to them for doing that treatment, or for some other reason. So, in principle, it is good that this has been included in the manifesto by a political party. But with the present state scenario, where the health benefits which the state government claims is being given, is something which one does not see on the ground.
Right. Ms. Mahima, that's an interesting point that Ms. Bhatt is also making. Now, while we think that this has really opened up a lot of conversations, now IVF is specialized care and treatment, because from diagnosis to counseling to every aspect of ART, couples would need expert monitoring. Now, some states in India have spent years creating hubs where people come from other states and sometimes even from other countries. How does Rajasthan intend to improve its healthcare facilities to include IVF as one of its offerings? Because, even during Right to Health, we saw protests by private doctors and institutions.
जय हिंद. हयात लेके चलो, कायनात लेके चलो. हयात लेके चलो, कायनात लेके चलो. चलो तो सारे जमाने को साथ लेके चलो. Congress is synonymous, Vasudha, to political vision and has ever been so. And today, the manifesto that has come out in Rajasthan, specifically today, as we're talking about it, and in all the other states, is a result of a document. The Rajasthan Manifesto is a result of a document called Vision 2030, a very practical document wherein 3.32 crore people gave in their inputs. Unlike the PM's Man Ki Baat, this is Jan Ki Baat. Inputs from 3.32 lakh people, amongst which, at least half of the contributories are women. And so when we talk about those inputs and suggestions by these 3.32 crore people, they were, of course, about studying in English medium schools. They were, of course, about, free travel. They were, of course, about all the other welfare schemes that the people are looking forward to. And reproductive health is no exception to that. And I think it is high time, as you already said, and another, your expert that you were talking to was talking about, that it is high time political parties remove the stigma, because once a topic finds space in the political domain, the stigma goes away slowly. So, of course, you see, BJP and its supporters will find a huge problem with this and of the, practicality of the scheme, because our Prime Minister himself, when he was the Chief Minister in Gujarat, found the food security bill mockable, and he laughed at it. He laughed it out, and he posed challenges to the implementation of the same. And today, we have seen in the last 3 years after COVID hit the country and the world, it is the very food security bill that the Congress brought in, the visionary Congress brought in, came to the rescue of the Prime Minister. Similarly, Chiranjeevi Yojana, as you rightly pointed out, when we were bringing it about in Rajasthan, we did face a lot of challenges. The private sector, hospitals posed a lot of challenges to it, and eventually, public welfare won the case. And here we are, Chiranjeevi's Yojana is successfully running.
Right.
A pity today, Vasudha, is that we are looking for data on Chiranjeevi Yojana, which has just come about. But we are okay with no data on PM CARES Fund, which came 3 years ago. We are okay with no data on so many other schemes. We are okay with no data on the water welfare scheme that the government is running, and so on and so forth. But here we want data. So that is a sorry state of affairs. We have just implemented it. 95% of our previous manifesto, which was also a people's voice, has been manifested. And today, when we are talking about IVF insurance, on our manifesto, it will be achieved. We'll be talking it out. Congress, whenever it envisions something, we do it with a policy. We do it with a strategy.
Right.
And that, of course, is a part of the game plan. When you see, as we go forth, you will see that, the stakeholders will be taken into account.
Ma'am, I get your point. Like you're saying that, there's a thought in place. You're saying that there's a thought in place, and, and you're confident that the government will push this through, right? That's the thing, that's the point you're making. Right.
No, another point that I would like to add here, Vasudha, is that unlike the farmers' laws, which were brought about by central government and had to be taken back later, we are taking the key stakeholders into dialogue, and that's how we are bringing about these schemes.
You're right. Geeta, but she's making an interesting point. She's making an important point. She's saying that, consultations are happening. Like, and we also saw the parliament passing the ART bill, I think 2 years ago, to regulate and supervise clinics. And we've been talking so much about private healthcare. Do you think it's also time for the centre and state governments to run IVF centres because of high treatment costs? Geeta Bhatt?
Definitely, that is something that that the state governments should definitely initiate. Considering that, we also have to keep in mind that usually this issue of couples who have to undertake IVF, it is very much related to a lifestyle issue. If you look, if we look into the medical diagnostics around it, it is very largely revolving around people either not having children. And it is also in a way a very largely a city-centric problem, where people, because of stress or because of health issues, because of weight management issues and things like that, largely the number is such. But I would like to put forth also one more point over here. Since it is the projection is that the government in Rajasthan has been putting out various benefits for women, and this for IVF also is a beneficiary. Women will be a beneficiary, those who are not able to conceive children. It's very, just I think about a year ago, the Chief Minister has announced a program in which they said that all the women who are above 18 years will be given mobile phones in Rajasthan. And it was said that it will be worth 18,000 rupees, which will be phones which will be given. But if you actually talk to people over there, it is something which was estimated that more than 1 crore women would be given such a phone. Ultimately, a few thousand were given, and that also very cheap quality.
Mahima, would you like to quickly respond to that? Would you like to quickly respond to that? Just
as far
1 minute, would you like to respond to that?
When you talk on paper and when you implement the scheme,
okay, Mahima ji, would you like to respond to that? Geeta, but you had your say now. Let her respond.
If the learned panelist allows me to, I would absolutely want to respond.
But make it very quick. I just have 30 seconds.
Yeah. You see, you would remember UP 2022, where Rajnath Singh ji had promised scooties and tablets, not done till now. And today, when you're talking about Rajasthan and talking about the mobile schemes, I think Rajasthan, we are speaking the truth. We are saying 95% of our manifesto has been manifested. We are still accepting 5% needs to be done. Unlike the BJP, we do like to walk the talk, and we do like to accept our loopholes, and we shall be working on them. That's how a political system in a democracy as large as India works.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Singh. Thank you, Ms. Bhatt, for joining me on this discussion. That was our panel on the IVF making it to the Congress Manifesto and what it means for the discussion, the political discourse on reproductive rights. That's all we have for you in the battle for states. We'll be back tomorrow. More news and updates on the other side.